Listen, Ingrid's our Sadie 9 ace in the hole. I need her emotionally prepared to retake that test. Can you spare her?
Ordinarily, I'd say no. But maybe she has some things she needs to work out.
Hey, hello, how do you do? Shady Doorags here. A couple of months back, I took a look at the pilot episode of Fillmore and was shocked at how good it was considering the show's aesthetics have that cartoon that airs at 11 a.m. on a school day vibe. And not only was it quality and good review material, but you intellectuals seem to really want more. Thus, I made it my goal to watch the rest of the series and be on the lookout for any other episodes that might be good for a video on the channel. And how long did it take me to find one? Literally the next episode. Coincidentally, this was also an episode that a lot of people asked for as a follow-up review to the first one. But Shady, if you found another episode immediately and it's one many asked for, why did it take you so long to get to reviewing it? What, were you not listening during the Jimmy review? I don't want my channel to stagnate, so I take time between shows and topics. But if I like an episode and it's heavily requested, you can guarantee that I'll eventually get around to reviewing it. And how much longer do we have to wait for a review of Brave and the Bold's Chill of the Night? So today we're looking at the episode Test of the Tested. Strangely enough, I do have some context I need to give, but it's not the usual type of context. This episode features a test called the Sadie 9. In a lot of public schools, at least in America, students are required to take an aptitude test in order to evaluate their overall progress. I grew up in Florida, and our test was called the FCAT, which according to the internet got replaced sometime in the last decade or so. Every student had to take it, but if you failed while you were in certain grades, I think it was 5th, 7th, and 10th grade, your ability to advance was questioned, even if your other academic scores were fine. The Sadie 9 is a stand-in for these types of tests, and this episode is going to dive into some issues surrounding them because, as you can imagine, not everyone approves of school-wide aptitude tests for various reasons. We'll get more into it as the episode goes on, but I needed to establish that info now because the show assumes it's being watched by kids who have taken these types of tests, and thus also assumes you'll immediately understand the commentary. The episode starts in the middle of the day where students are taking the Sadie 9. Well, most of them are taking the test. Ingrid is finishing it.
Sweet syrup on a short stack, Ingrid. This is fast even for you.
Do you feel good about it?
About having to take the test? No.
You know good and well that wasn't what he was asking, but I guess we gotta get the episode's theme going. Also, do y'all mind? Other people are still taking the test.
For you, taking the Sadie 9 must be like doing a placemat word find at any local waffle restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Ingrid's got a photographic memory. I imagine a lot of academic-related things are easier for her than most.
Well, see you later, Mr. Collingwood.
It's really weird watching Ingrid leave when people are still testing. Every school-wide test I've ever taken demands that you stay in your seat until the test taking time is over.
Mr. Collingwood? Mr. Collingwood, I have a problem.
Well, hello there, random background character interrupting a main character's conversation. I'm sure you'll have nothing to do with the inevitable case of the episode.
STOP, the Sadie 9!
And another one. Okay, this episode's doing a better job lining up its suspects than the premiere did. My money's on the first kid. Ingrid makes her way to the safety patrol room, and when she gets there, she finds flowers on her desk.
It's a gift from Principal Folsom. Thanks for knocking the Sadie 9 out of the park, kiddo. Why would she send me this?
I have to keep reminding myself that these are kids. Because you're an asset, Ingrid, your good grades provide benefits for the school, so the principal has an incentive to keep you happy. Thankfully, Phil is very much aware of what's going on.
Because you're the smartest kid in school. You bring up the average, Folsom gets good press, and everyone's happy.
Believe me, I saw everyone taking that test. Everyone was not happy. A single, multiple-choice test.
What
designed
is
to measure
that?
the academic achievement
I
of
feel like I've
millions
seen
of
it somewhere
different kinds of
before.
kids. One size fits all.
Oh, my bad. What Ingrid said was actually very important. Play it again.
A single, multiple-choice test designed to measure the academic achievement of millions of different kinds of kids. One size fits all.
Ah, there it is. The purpose of standardized tests is to measure the aptitude of students. The problem a lot of people have with them is that they don't always tell a reliable story. Not every student is competent at successfully relaying what they've learned through a test. Of course, there's the inevitable question, what's Shady's opinion? Well, this is a complicated and nuanced topic, and I'm pretty sure none of you want to listen to me ramble about it for an hour. So I'll just give you the abridged version. Simply put, I side with those who dislike aptitude tests, mainly because of how they tend to be implemented. Really, I don't like tests in general when they incentivize memorization above learning. I think that type of mentality is good for some subjects like math, but I'm of the opinion that the better way of seeing if someone understands something is through demonstration. Things like projects, essays, and other means that show the thought process rather than just knowledge of an answer. Now, with that being said, I really don't like when Ingrid asks,
The Sadie 9. Has there been anything more pointless?
Aptitude tests aren't flawless, but they do have a point. That point being to measure education on a macro scale. While I ultimately don't like them, I also don't dismiss standardized tests altogether because I understand that when dealing with a large amount of people, as well as a chain of command, some streamlining is necessary. As much as I complain, I don't really have a perfect solution to aptitude tests. Not unless you want to do something radical like abolish the Department of Education altogether. Actually...
Fillmore, not now. The duck is in earshot.
Well, that was subtle.
Listen, I know all you guys are planning on chipping in to get me a scooter for my birthday.
Your birthday's coming up?
Wow, Phil, you are really bad at this.
You guys can't get me a scooter. Everybody's gonna think I'm just jumping on the scoot bandwagon.
And she's a goth in the 2000s. She can't have people thinking she's going with the crowd. We transition to Mr. Collingwood attempting to deliver the finished test when he gets an unexpected visitor.
If it isn't the ex-middle school mascot with the mostest. Hi, Lobsty.
Oh goodness, why are you so happy to see him? Are you like Lobsty's biggest fan? It's even funnier because of that freaking ominous music. Lobsty takes off with the test results and we get our mystery for the episode. Phil and Ingrid, of course, are on the case.
It's clear. Oh, snap. I'm sorry.
Okay, funny and good character building, but Phil, that's messed up. How do you think that kid feels with a girl in the locker room? Actually, apparently he does not care.
Fillmore, I really didn't need that image in my photographic memory.
Locked.
Allow me. It's a talent from my delinquent past. Tough one. They locked it from the inside.
My goodness gracious, this clunky dialogue. Did you guys know that Ingrid has a photographic memory or a delinquent past? How about the fact that the door was locked from the inside? Wait, how would someone know a door was locked from the inside by lockpicking it? Phil and Ingrid get the story from the official mascot wearer, Elliot Flintstone. He says someone jumped him, took his mascot costume, and then proceeded to climb out the window.
Vallejo!
Principal Folsom.
Those tests are due for grading in Washington by the end of the week. The last thing I want to see is 1,200 kids having to take this thing over.
We'll have to take it over.
So I recently discovered that people randomly bursting through a door to join a conversation they weren't originally a part of is one of my comedy weaknesses. I'm putting it up there between random explosions and racist jokes.
The 79 or census aptitude tryout tested yearly was the hardest test I've ever taken. I saw spots. I developed the spontaneous French accent. I can't.
Check yourself, Willie.
Okay, firstly, that kid sounds like Chester McBadbat. Who's playing him? Frankie Muniz. I didn't know he did voice acting. Shocked it's not Jason Marston. He sounds just like Chester. Oh, yeah, duh. Chester had two voice actors. Forgot for a second. It's weird. When I think of Chester, I always hear Frankie's voice, but I always think of Jason. Second, I appreciate the show giving the test a label for its acronym.
The 79 or census aptitude tryout tested yearly.
I was going crazy wondering what Shady stood for. Third, great joke with the French accent, but it would have been funnier if he had had it the entire time instead of just when he said the line. The kid's name being Willie is also pretty good.
When we find those tests, I know this girl is going to be the curve breaker.
I'm all for encouraging people, but Folsom, you are pushing Chosen One vibes here, and if Avatar has taught me anything, it's that that is not good for kids.
Now find the tests. You don't? The Safety Patrol headquarters could make a great tap studio.
Women, you keep going to the Safety Patrol for help, but then threaten to shut them down as if you don't need them. Pick a lane. Where's he going?
Elliot, the reason to wear boxers is to avoid mooning strangers.
People, can we cover Elliot's butt, please?
No, wait, hold up. Where's he going? He's a suspect. There were no witnesses to his testimony. He's just as likely as anyone else to have stolen the test. In fact, he's more likely since he was the last person seen with the lobster costume and we know it fits him. Ingrid and Phil begin searching the perimeter for clues and immediately come across someone suspicious.
Augie Sansom. He took the test this morning. And come to think of it, he looked pretty nervous.
Ingrid, remember this line?
Believe me, I saw everyone taking that test. Everyone was not happy.
I'm sure there were a lot of kids who looked pretty nervous.
Freeze. Ex-middle school sector patrol.
Act 2, The Multiple Choices.
Oh yeah, I kind of brushed over this last time. The episodes are divided into acts, and each act gets its own title with an announcer reading them out. I imagine those of you who grew up with this show probably love this aspect, but I could take it or leave it. I do like the opportunity for more puns though. With Augie on the run, Ingrid and Phil give chase using water sports equipment. I'll say this for the show, I can never predict its chase scenes.
Now lock your wrists, people. You're as solid as a Geodude using his harden attack.
I'm not sure if I appreciate that reference or if I should cringe at it. It feels very how do you do, fellow kids, but it gave me dopamine nonetheless.
You formed a mighty sturdy pyramid that cannot be tossed asunder.
I wonder what will happen.
Nothing could possibly.
The chase ends with Ingrid and Phil cornering Augie at the dock. But Augie reveals that he's not the Sadie 9 thief and thought Phil and Ingrid were chasing him because he stole tartar sauce.
Maybe we can work something out. I know who you guys should talk to about the tests. So Augie says the word on the street is Seth Chrissy had a little meltdown during the test today.
I saw it. Seth had the look of someone one step away from wigging.
Oh, that's your next lead? A kid panicked during a test, because that's never happened before. Again, Ingrid made it clear that there were lots of kids not looking happy about taking the test. Also, I'm annoyed that Seth is being suspected this early in the episode because that means he obviously didn't do it. The show successfully red herringed me.
He also had an egg rollery t-shirt on.
And thus, we're here.
That and you owe me lunch.
Geez, the episode did a good job setting up potential leads, but it's pretty flimsy how they become relevant. Just because I have a McDonald's t-shirt doesn't mean I'm going there every day for... I'm sorry, egg rollery?
I'll take the egg-free egg roll supreme.
I'll take the ain't too proud to beg roll special.
Is this a restaurant that exclusively serves egg rolls? And there's a Rolo Grande? Okay, whoever's in charge of world building is not getting paid enough. Getting nervous about Phil and Ingrid's presence, Seth forces a Rolo Grande onto Phil and rushes away.
Who was? Seth.
Wow, they didn't even notice him? Seth, you would have gotten away if you had literally just walked out the door.
He's heading towards the bridge. We'll cut him off. Stay on it.
Wait, they're not in school, but they can still arrest students? How much authority does the safety patrol have? What a sanitary way to transport food. Like I said, sanitary. Also, I feel like it would have been faster to just go around.
Hey, Officer Third, I bought new boxer shorts.
Congratulations.
Great use of background character. That's a decent joke and a good setup for a potential running gag. Ingrid finally corners Seth at the drawbridge. Seth admits guilt, but also plays on Ingrid's sympathy.
They give you that test and they think they know how smart you are.
I know the test is lame, but what you did was wrong.
I couldn't let down my mom or Mr. Collingwood after 4 months of his prep class. Please, Ingrid, just let me jet.
Ingrid has a moment of doubt and she looks the other way, but she immediately realizes her mistake and tries to fix it. Unfortunately, it's too late. Phil has shown up and he's not happy with what he just witnessed. He decides to chat with Ingrid while they wait for evidence to show up.
I know Seth. He's creative. He does these cool little cartoons about a pig named Schmagoogie, but you don't see that in a Sadie 9 score.
Ingrid, I think you're a little mixed up here. You're correct in that an aptitude test doesn't show a person's artistic creativity, but that's like saying a math test doesn't show you a person's history knowledge. It's not supposed to. I think the show is trying to cram in a concern about how academics aren't the only way to measure someone's value, which I agree with, but that wouldn't mean getting rid of aptitude tests. It would just mean instituting more tests that measure other things.
For a second, I just thought maybe the world would be better off without those answer sheets.
That test may be beat, but there's a right way to fight it. Going the other way is a sucker move.
I've been saying it for years. Ain't I been saying it? Integrity. Vallejo comes in with the evidence, but it's soon revealed that there's been a misunderstanding.
Next, you tell us where you put the lobster costume.
Lobster costume?
Cheat sheets. Tons of them.
I cheated. Isn't that why you were after me?
Bruh, they had literally nothing on you. You admitted to doing the crime, and yet it was the wrong one. Just wow, dude. Principal Folsom calls the safety patrol in to berate them for not catching the crook. She warns them that she has no choice but to start prepping to re-administer the tests.
We're gonna find those tests. Count on it.
12 hours.
I spent too long trying to figure out why Folsom put her glasses on and then immediately took them off again. The conclusion I've come to is that I think those are reading glasses and she's trying to read Phil's face to make sure he meant what he said, which I can't even be mad at. That's actually fantastic attention to detail. It just confused the crap out of me.
Ingrid, report to room 7G.
Principal Folsom, we're right in the middle of an investigation.
I'm having a facilitator meet with some of X's best and brightest. You need to talk to someone. You need to heal.
In the newspaper Seth was reading at Egg Roller, it mentions that overachievers were panicking because of the Sadie 9 theft. Again, good attention to detail. That's some nice world building, cause and effect, and it makes sense. Phil says normally he couldn't spare his partner during a major investigation, but given Ingrid's recent behavior, he thinks her going might do her some good. So Ingrid goes to the meeting, and Phil was pretty much right on the money because this is where her eyes are opened.
For the last 3 months, my mom would tutor me after she got home from working at the gravy factory. How do I tell her someone just stole all that work away?
Ingrid can now see that despite the setting 9's existence causing pain, stealing the test hasn't solved anything. In fact, it only created more pain because now plenty of students feel angry that their initial attempt was wasted. And for anyone thinking, well, if these students passed it once, they shouldn't be stressed since all they have to do is pass it again. Let me ask you, have you ever played Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy? Because if you have, then you know doing something again that you've already done can be a very unpleasant experience.
You know, they may have taken your answer sheet away from you, but they didn't take the answers. That's right. You still have them, right up here.
Not necessarily true. A common tactic used to pass tests is to retain the information needed long enough to take the test, but not after. If any of these kids did that, it's no wonder they'd be stressed about having to retake the setting 9. This is why I say we should avoid encouraging memorization. The safety patrol continued the investigation without Ingrid and come up with a plan. Phil uses the birdwatching club's thermal goggles to find the missing lobster costume since it would be overheating if left out in the sun.
Disco.
I have been informed by you intellectuals that disco means I learn in Latin. So whenever Phil says it, yes, he's saying his catchphrase, but he's also saying he's learned something. And I'm glad y'all told me that because that actually makes it way cooler than I initially thought. The costume is located, but Phil comes to a realization. Climbing through the window while wearing it would be pretty much impossible given the costume's size. Elsewhere, Ingrid randomly gets another suspect. And I do mean randomly. She just out of nowhere looks at the girl protesting and thinks, oh, she didn't like the test, maybe she did it.
Hey, Officer Third.
Hi.
Wow, they're getting mileage out of Elliot. That's 2 great jokes in a row he's been used for.
What's in the locker, Enid?
I don't have anything to hide. Every day, my secret admirer leaves me a bouquet.
Aw, that's nice. Good for you.
Those are chrysanthemums.
It's my favorite flower.
Wait.
What is it?
My photographic memory is acting up.
What, like a spider sense? Listen, Cam Jansen, would it pain you to just say, that reminds me of something? Back with the rest of the safety patrol, Phil finds the missing piece of Elliot's boxer shorts. He gets a call from Ingrid on his walkie, and all the details of the case fall into place.
Elliot Funston is Enid Quintara's secret admirer. She's the girl that wants to stop the Sadie 9.
Elliot walked out of the changing room as Lopsty, stole the tests, ditched the costume, and snuck back in through the window tearing his boxing shorts. He then locked the door from the inside and Shiny's finger trapped his own digits.
Oh, so even though my first guess wasn't correct, I was completely on the money with them not questioning Elliot. By the way, there's one shot where they do show the missing piece of Elliot's boxer shorts. It's a fun thing to notice on a second watch. However, you see this part right here with the safety patrol gathering evidence? Yeah, how did they miss this? It's right in front of the supposed escape route.
Get him, Ingrid. And go ahead and use your birthday present.
They got me a scooter.
Ugh, the dialogue is really letting me down. It should have been something like, open the closet. There's something in there for you that'll help you catch him. Time to jump on the bandwagon. Ingrid attempts to arrest Elliot, but he decides to run for it. Not really sure why, they already have the evidence. Elliot can run, but he's going to get into trouble the next time he goes to class.
I think I'll just save myself.
Okay, guilty or not, a costume walking around that you got rid of and thought no one would find is terrifying. Actually, come to think of it, why did Phil leave that on?
Stumped. I need your waxer.
Be good to her. She's all I got.
Sometimes I get mad at how funny this show is.
Nice try, Officer Fillmore.
Elliot, here's your candy back.
Whoa!
You should stay away from that stuff. It's real bad for you.
Finally, a decent line of dialogue.
He betrays the school and the good name of Lopsty. He's facing suspension and still wins.
Suspension? For stealing an entire school's worth of aptitude tests? Duke out of light if you ask me. Also, be thankful Elliot didn't destroy those tests. He had no reason not to.
No, Fillmore, we won. He just got the girl of his dreams.
Which was his goal, Ingrid, so yeah, he won. The episode ends with Phil talking with Ingrid about her experience.
I'd like to see that stupid test go down.
But Ingrid, what can you do?
Something.
I don't think that's against the rules.
Okay, I really like that ending. Ingrid realized that as the smartest kid in school, she has a bigger voice than most and she can do something with it. It might not immediately fix the problem. Shoot, it might not fix the problem at all, considering this issue goes much higher than the school. But like I said before, X has an incentive to keep Ingrid happy, so it's clever that she would use that for her own benefit against the Sadie 9. Also, as a lawful person, it just puts a smile on my face to see someone realizing the chaotic approach isn't the only one. You can make a difference while still obeying the rules. You don't always have to fight the system by working outside of it. And that was Tessa the Tested. Instantly won me over. The dialogue absolutely needs some work and the red herrings were pretty forced. However, it does a much better job than the first episode of hiding its main culprit. The jokes are up to snuff and man do the messages hit well. First off, there's a discussion of aptitude tests, which yes, keep having those discussions. Believe it or not, I'm actually a bad test taker. Well, really, I just don't do well under stress in general, so I support the discussion of better implementation of tests in schools. However, it's Ingrid's journey that really sealed the deal for me. I've said it so many times and I'll keep screaming it to the heavens. How you accomplish something is as important, if not more so, than accomplishing it. Doing the right thing the wrong way is just another form of justifying wrong actions under victimhood status, aka the victim mentality. I don't necessarily believe that all rules should be followed, but I think it's important to try to work within a system before resorting to breaking it in order to get what you want.
Some kids wanted to take that test, and I just realized they should have the right to do that without all of their hard work disappearing with a giant lobster.
Oh, and would you look at that, we have our dear friend Empathy, always nice to see him. Despite her want to get rid of the Sadie 9, Ingrid realized that doing it by any means necessary actually hurts some of the people she'd like to help. When she sees their frustration with her own eyes, it clicks in her how wrong it is to disrupt the system in the way it was. Something needs to be done, but not anything. And when she thinks of a way to use her influence of passing the test as leverage to speak against it, cherry on top. All in all, a funny and engaging episode that delivers good commentary on students while also being a reminder that doing whatever it takes to force change can often hurt more than it helps. This has been Shady Doorags. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.